And good morning, everybody. And happy Monday, happy almost Hanukkah. It's hard to wait. We have a couple days. We have a couple days. Hang on to be up for Shalema for dear friend Miriam Dina Bas Taiba, Chaim Menachem Ben Leah, and bunch of is based on Reb Erez Moshe Daron class and others. And Christine,
Not going to stay home.
Not showing you.
So we notice in Tehillim when we say it with our heart and we really look into it, he's talking to me, and it's like I'm talking. It's like he's catching my emotions and my feelings, sometimes high, sometimes low, ups and downs. And it's like when we say the Tehillim, it's like the words enter my heart, and when we say it, we have Ruach HaKodesh. We have such a connection with ourselves. Start with ourselves. So he says, King David in Tehillim Samach Tes at 69, Cherpa Shavra Libi. Shame has broken my heart. I feel so ashamed and so broken. And what does he want? What does he want? Because Tehillim is what he had Ruach HaKodesh for all the generations. In fact, the song, this is how I learned how he used to daven. He would daven that everyone should have a refuah shalema, and those who are well should not get sick. Those who are sick should get well. At sof kol hadoros, forever. He didn't just daven for his neighborhood or his circle or his friends, daven, and not just for his generation. At sof kol hadoros, for the end of time. He daven for us. And his Tehillim represents our heart and our needs and our wants and our thanks and our emotions. We can find ourselves in Tehillim. In fact, that's how we should say Tehillim. It's about me. About me, Hashem. And so when he says Cherpa Shavra Libi, it's not there yet. We'll get there. Shame has broken my heart. This is our heart. What does a person need the most? What do we need? Each of us need the most love. Not to be alone, to have that closeness, to have warmth with another person, with our friends. And when I feel alone, then I have that cherpa in my heart, that shame, that sadness in my heart. And what is he asking for? And the rest of the pasuk goes on, cherpa shavra libi, v'akaveh lanud. What am I asking for? Nud is like a nod. I'm asking somebody just to listen and go, Just a nod. Just to accept my words, accept my pain, accept what I'm going through. And then he goes on, I have no one to do that, to nod, to share my feelings. And someone lenachem, to comfort me. It's going to be okay. It's going to pass. You'll get out of this. It's temporary. You're going to see the light. It's almost Hanukkah. You're going to see that small little light is going to open up the darkness of your world and of the world. I didn't find. When I feel alone, that's when a person is very vulnerable, because the world out there, which is Yavan, the Malchus Yavan, Greek society or the Western world, offers us so many tachlifim, so many substitutes for the real thing, for the real love of Hashem, for the real love of his Torah, which is the love that can really, really fill us up. And they offer us so many other things: food, emotional eating, taivas, come see me, talk to me, look at me, buy me, watch me, eat me. The world is there with so many exchanges, so many substitutes. Tikshoret, watch, do, you'll feel good. It doesn't work, it doesn't fill me, it doesn't fill a person. So after that, a person feels disconnected. I'm alone, like King David described his feeling. And then what's the next step? Kfira, not to believe. I don't believe in good. I don't believe in love. And chas v'shalom, person doesn't believe in Hashem. That's what it leads to. This loneliness and this disconnection from others leads to kfira, to not believing. There is Hashem in the world that many or most people believe. What does that have to do with me? How does that affect me? I don't feel him. I don't feel Hashem. The Baal Shem Tov said many or mostly all people do believe in Hashem. This is from the Baal Shem Tov. They believe that he was in the past because it's written in the Torah, all about Hashem. And we believe in the words of the Torah. They believe he's in the future because the Nevi'im, the prophets, have spoken about Hashem taking us out of Gullahs and the last Beis Hamikdash, the third one, but present moment, this moment, I don't feel him. It's not by me. That's the non-belief that Yavin wanted to instill in us. This is the kfirah, the lack of belief, this feeling of, I don't believe in Hashem. They were very clever. They were very sneaky, the Yavanim. They were very wise, Greek culture and Greek philosophy. They knew how to get us. They didn't say there's no Hashem because we wouldn't have fallen for it. We wouldn't have bought it. But they said, Ein Hashem iti. Hashem is not with me. He's not in my heart and he's not in my life. And that's how they got their foot into the door, to break us from our closeness, from what is our life? What is our sustaining kesher? It's with Hashem. It's with the Torah because it's all love. Everything that Hashem gives us, all his mitzvahs and all his Torah is from love. If we can feel that, we're filled up. Totally. I'm happy. A kid that runs away or goes away from home and tries to find love on the street, we didn't have it at home. We have it at home. And what is home? Our heart, our Torah, our Hashem, our mitzvahs. I won't even look. Nothing can faze me. Nothing can catch me. Nothing can draw me because totally it's good. I'm full. And this is the mitzvah of Ner Hanukkah. So what happens when we light those small little candles, the 8 days of Hanukkah, and that breaks Malchus Yavan. It breaks the kingdom. It breaks the Russia. It breaks the Yavan, the Greek that wants to get us away, and take us away from Hashem. They're still around in this generation. They haven't gone anywhere. They're not under the band of Greeks. They're under the band of take us away. Materialism. Find love in other places, in food. Find love in things that aren't healthy, that aren't going to really fill us. And they didn't have us stop to learn Torah or to do mitzvahs, which is interesting. But they want us not to feel the kesher, not to feel the connection with Hashem. And they were strong in this, and this is what they told us even at that time. What did they tell us, if you recall? That they told us to write on the horns of the sheep, of the ox, Ein lachem chelek b'Elokei Yisrael. We don't have a portion in the God of Israel. And to write it on the horns of the ox, the oxen, the sheep, ox. And they didn't tell us, don't write Ein Elokei Yisrael, because we wouldn't have fallen for that. They said, Ein li chelek. I don't have a part, I don't feel him. He could exist, but I don't feel him. That's what they wanted to do, to get into that, to break up that kesher, that warm, loving kesher that every Jew naturally and sincerely and deeply has with Hashem, and to break it. And it's interesting, why did they tell us to write it on the horns of the oxen, of the Keren Hashor? If we want to make this big announcement to ourselves and to the world, can you think of a better place we should have written it? Maybe on a bulletin board?
Mirror.
Where?
On the mirror.
On the mirror?
No,
On the
because
fridge?
horns, they were working with films and they would see the horns.
That's true. That's true. That was close to them.
So
Right.
They had to feed them. They had to take care of them.
That's
so
true.
they would see it every day
Uh-huh.
when they go to work.
That's a very good point. And so it's to keep us back with the connection. And let's say you put it in a newspaper, you would think, put in the headlines, to the Jewish people, connection with the God of Israel. It's just what you said. And you know what one Meforish says? That they used the horn of the ox because that's, you know what the people in those days, what they used the horn for? For a baby's bottle of milk. You picture that? Yeah.
Wow.
With the baby's milk came this lack of connection. They got to the core of the Jew as a baby, as an infant on his mother's milk. I don't have a portion. They wanted us to be raised from childhood on without that connection with Hashem. And that's taking our life away. That's taking our blood, our lifeline away. And they were successful to a certain point. And afterwards, when we lack this feeling that Hashem loves us, we're going to be very dry to the mitzvahs. We're going to look around. What else does the world have to offer me? It sounds exciting by the neighbors. I have to check this out. It's like I just want more and more of it. But still I'm empty. And the Zohar says, Rabbi Yehuda said, Ilu hayu yodim b'nei Yisrael, if the Jewish people would know, as godel ahava sha'oev HaKadosh Baruch Hu has been of the great, tremendous love that Hashem loves His children, hayinu ratzim b'rodfim acharav k'arayos shoagim, we would run and chase Him like screaming lions, like roaring lions, with so much passion and so much excitement. What dries us up? He's not listening. He's not involved with me. He doesn't care. It becomes heavy. It becomes dry. It becomes not personal to me. And yet, inside of each and every one of us, inside of each and every Jew is an nekuda. It's called the pintalayid, the small point of the Jew that can't be broken for anything, that can't be washed away or burned or disintegrated for anything. And so the Gemara tells a beautiful story about such a person. His name was Yosef Mashita. You ever hear of him?
What's that noise?
You.
Oh, it's this chair.
Yeah, at least not a mouse in here. It's easily fixable. Now we're good. Now we're good to go. So, Yosef Mashita was the lowest, biggest sinner that you could close your eyes and imagine. I mean, if there's a sin in the Medrash Bereshit Rabbah brings this down. If there's a sin in the Torah, he did it, and he did it, with Mahadran. He did it all the way. And so when the enemies came to destroy the Beit Hamikdash, they thought, they wanted to go in and take out all the holy, beautiful things in the Beit Hamikdash, the menorah and the kior and the mizbeach, the altar, and they wanted to destroy it. First, they wanted to take all the gold out, and they were a little bit, more than a little bit afraid. They said, maybe the God of the Jews is going to be upset that we're doing this, maybe, for sure, and he might punish us, he might kill us. So they had an idea. Let's send in a Jew in there. Worst comes to worst, so what? So Hashem will be angry at him. So who did they find? Who was the best guy for the job? Who was the candidate? Yosef Mashita, because he was a very big sinner in those days. A sinner, wicked, evil. He did many sins. So when they asked him, they said, "You're the candidate. You want to go in and bring out any part of the Holy Temple vessels, and it will be yours to keep." I said, "Sure, why not? Like, no problem." He went in and he took out the menorah, the beautiful candelabra of the Holy Temple. He did it like, who cares? Like, he spit on Hashem. He did the biggest embarrassment to the Holy Temple, to Hashem, taking it out. When he took it out, what did the enemies say? They said, you chose the wrong thing. It's too big. It's too beautiful. That we're going to save for the king, our king. Go in, take out anything else you want, and it's yours. You know what he answered them? This is like, it gives me shivers. He said to them, I angered Hashem one time. You want me to anger him again? I'm not going in. I said, what? What do you care about Hashem? Like, you spit on him just now. You do all the sins in the book, plus all of a sudden you care about Hashem? You're not going to go in a second time? I said, that's right. I angered my Hashem once. They said, you know what? You have to go in. We decree upon you, you have to go in. They couldn't find anyone as bad or as evil that would do the job. I'm not going in. He said, they threatened him. We're going to kill you. We're going to punish you. We're going to torture you. I'm not going in. And that's what happened. They killed him and he died al Kiddush Hashem, to sanctify the name. This Yosef Mashita, who's so low and so far, became like willing to give, not just willing, gave his life for Hashem, not to sin. And the Gemara teaches us about him because every single Jew loves Hashem so much. No Jew would do anything to hurt Hashem. But a minute ago, you were the biggest Russia. What happened to you? Each of us have this tremendous love for Hashem. And before a person does a sin, which is like a red light, which goes beyond, all of a sudden he starts feeling like, what? I'm doing this? Wait a minute. Hashem's counting on me. Hashem loves me. That point of sin, when he's about to do really something big, like Yosef and Shita did, he turns back to Hashem. And he does tshuva. Wanted to
just a thought on it was when we sin, that's creating a block between us and Hashem. So it's our thing going up, like even though Hashem wants to reach us, it's not that we're making him angry by sinning. It's we're making him sad because we create that block where we can't connect as easily. Whereas when you're going into his house and you're taking his things, that's a different thing completely. That's like that's going above and
really
beyond.
lahachitz. It's really like
Yeah,
he doesn't
but one thing is
care.
coming
He
from
doesn't-
you where it's a block. Okay, you want to block me, you block me. But it's like coming into my house and trying to make me free. On the other hand,
Mhm.
it's like that's
He
a
went
different level of
beyond,
personal.
yeah. And yet, when a person goes to that red light and goes that level, often we'll see that he'll come back. He'll come back and say, I can't anymore live this life. I want to come back to Hashem and be filled with real love and have a real life. So where is this light? Where's this drop of a Jew, this little small nikuda inside of each of us? It's so hidden. It could be hidden for generations. We can't find a assimilated Jew. Remember the story? This man had a girlfriend, and at some point she told him she's Jewish. I'm like, okay, didn't register. You passed the ketchup. Like, what else? He was a Jew from Israel. And later on, Baruch Hashem, she's Jewish, he's Jewish. They came back to Hashem. But each of us, we have this, and where is it? It's hidden, but it exists. It exists. And the tzaddikim find it for us. In Shir Shirim, King Shlomo HaMelech says, "Mayim rabim lo yuchlu lechavos hazav." A lot of water, a big flood of water could not extinguish this love, could not take away this love that we have. And it's very, very hidden. But remember this miracle of Hanukkah? What did we find in the Beis HaMikdash? Amongst all the impurity, the Greeks had come and they made impure all the shemen. So there was nothing left. We couldn't find that pintalayid, that small point, except what did we find? One small little container, enough for one day of oil, pure with the chotem, with the seal of the Kohen Gadol. That means it's inside of us. And who seals it? Who says, I believe in you? The Kohen Gadol, the tzaddik. I believe in you. You have that holiness inside of you. Even though it seems small, it's pach, shemen katan. It was enough for one day. Jews didn't give up and say it's either everything or nothing. I'm either great or I'm going to continue in my way. I'm going to try it. Let's light it for one day. And what happened at the end of the day? It lasted for 8 days. Because that small light will brighten up my heart, will brighten up the world. And even though it's a small drop, says a little lightness illuminates a lot of darkness. A small little, we don't have to go on top of the roof and make a big, big bonfire. And so the whole world sees. We go to our little house and light our little candle. It lights up our heart and then each other's heart. Yeah, very low. Very low. Hashem comes down to where we are. He stoops down to where we are to bring us up. And that's the kindness of Hashem. He doesn't say you have to be the best kid in the class, an A child, an A student, an A adult, excellent. Be who you are. And let's connect with that small one little piece of light. And that's what we do on Hanukkah. We feel it's very dark. Things are hard. Things are black. Things are bleak. And we light up that light. And we start to dance. We start to feel the love. We start to feel like Judy said, we start to feel the beauty inside of us and inside of each other.
Yeah. I don't know. So did the Kohanim have to stand on steps to light them more? And they come that?
There are pictures that they are. Yeah.
That's what's in my head, but I wasn't sure if it was in the Torah. So there they had to stand on something, and we get to light below.
We bend down, so to speak.
So it's
Bend
actually
over.
closer than when they lit. We're even closer than, because we get to do it personally.
If
We
you-
don't have to wait for someone else.
Yeah, you follow the analogy. We don't have to be on a high madrega, a high level. We can be the lowest of the low, and Hashem comes down to us, especially on Hanukkah, and lights up every single Jew. You know, every single Jew loves Hanukkah, loves to light. They could be removed and distant from all the other mitzvahs, all the other holidays. There's something because Hashem, what? Hashem sees me. Hashem loves me. Hashem trusts. Hashem. Yeah.
Well, you'll see
North
on the
Dakota.
it's the Hanukkah Kwanzaa Xmas thing, and so it's like they even they know it.
Yeah, I mean, some places in UK and London, they have big menorahs and roundabouts.
Chabad, the hotel, sure, this big, and why does every Jew feel Hashem is looking at me? He believes in me. He has a chotem. He has a seal that I'm good, that I'm pure, that inside of me there is pure pintalayid, the point of a Jew. And that's stronger than anything else. It can overweigh everything. And so everyone is attracted. Everybody comes running to light the menorah, even with oil, because everyone wants to be part. Everyone wants to count. Everyone wants to be seen and believed in. And if we could remember that and bring it to the rest of the year, how powerful we are, how high neshama each of us has. So I want to ask you a question. What is stronger, 1 or 1,000,000?
One. Because if you take 1,000,000 drops and put it into one, it's a pretty big drop.
Great. Okay. So the answer is it's a trick question. You know why? It's not a fair question. Because we're doing apples and oranges. What's bigger, 1 orange or 1,000,000 oranges? Obvious. But depends on what we're talking about. 1 what and 1,000,000 what? How will the Geula come? We think people could give up. We're outnumbered. You see the enemies all around us. You see the enemy inside of us, the Yetzer Hara, that just wants to push us down and make us dry and bored and not excited to do mitzvahs. How's the Geula going to come? So it says in the Navi, Avacha says, the Beis Yaakov was a fire, Beis Yosef was the flame, and Esav was the kash, was the straw. If we have 1 match and 1,000,000 pieces of straw, that 1 match, it all disappears. It goes up in flame. What is that 1 match? Our heart, the little oil that we light on Hanukkah. That's the real Jew. That's stronger than the 1,000 of sheker, of choshech, of taiva, of things that the Yetzer Hara wants to convince us is us. It's not. It's not me. The me is that 1 beautiful pintala Jew, like Yosef Mashita. What did he do? He gave us up his life after being such a Russia, after doing so many sins. If we believe in this little bit of ore of good, everything can change. And Hanukkah, it's interesting. The word Hanukkah is Wednesday night. Hanukkah. Hanukkah. Do you know what it reads? It's one word Hanukkah, but you can divide it into 2 words. Hanukkah. And what is ka? Ka is a numerical value of 25. They rested on the 25th of Kislev. Hanu, they rested. They won the war. They lit the candle. On the 25th.
Wow.
So that's Hanukkah. Also from the word Hanukkah comes the word dedication. If you move into a new home and you make a party to Chanukah Abayit, right? You make a dedication for the new home. In other words, it's new. It's new. It's a fresh start.
Is it best to get your new house on the 25th of whatever?
No, next house we'll talk about it. Yeah.
Wow.
And also, Hanukkah, there's another word that we see in there. We take the chaf, the ches, I'm sorry, and the nun and the chaf, and we have chanoch or chinuch.
Yeah.
Chinuch. What is chinuch when we teach a child before they turn 12 or 13? We're preparing them. We're getting them excited and ready and teaching them what to do as an adult. That's chinuch. That's teaching. And so Hanukkah, we're teaching ourselves. Hanukkah, we're starting all over. Hanukkah is a new, fresh start. Hanukkah is the light of the mitzvahs. And
Really? The one is
Reviewed.
one Hashem, a letter of Hashem's name in the end. No, God. One has two. God,
uh-huh.
God and Taylor.
Right.
And one takes it out. What's the hay mean for Hashem's name? Because the Bob is like using up. It's a hay. What?
I don't know. It's a good
When
question.
you make teshuvah, you can either come up through the bottom or you can go in through the top.
Okay. Whereas when it's it's kind of shut off.
Yeah.
Well, it's before a person gets, I think, their total, like their Sahara.
Beyond the thing.
It's like to teach them when they're young and they accept everything, and then when they're on their own and can go up, and they have it all inside of them, and then they're ready to be a Jew. They're ready to be an adult Jew. So Hanukkah is the beginning. It's a fresh start. Our little small candle will be a new fresh start. Let's say we have a relationship with Hashem or with someone else that's not going the right way. It's either heavy or dry or negative. Give up. We light one small candle every single day. We do one nice thing, one smile, one prayer, one tehillim, one mitzvah, and that turns into a tremendous, tremendous light that lights up our heart and lights up the world. So talking about Yosef and the other stories of those who were very, very far from Yiddishkeit and they came back. There's a beautiful how this works, actually. It's beautiful. I read this the other day, and it's okay, like the first day of Hanukkah. So that's how I remember it. And I thought this was like Hashem telling me, yeah, go for it. Say it. It's good. So it says, we see that there are people that are big Rishoyim, big wicked people like this Yosef.
No.
Mashita. I think so. Thank you. Together we got it. Mashita. And others in the Gemara and in the Midrashim, like Reb Elazar ben Dordaya. He was a very big sinner. In the last moment, he became like a very big tzaddik. And they do a lot of sins. So, it's brought down that Aveira Goreris Aveira. If we do one sin, it draws another. So how can a person do a million sins and then flip over? They're so far away. Each time we do a sin, it says here that the Yetzer Hara, the Sitra Achra, which you said, each time we do a sin, it gets more power and it saps from us our holiness, our conviction, our closeness to Hashem. It says here, all the sins are because we don't realize how strong we are, how powerful we are. We have a strong neshama that even the lowest and lowest of Jews, Yecholal Amod Neged Kol Ha'olam, could stand against the whole world, each and every one of us. And we should know that. We should appreciate ourselves and be proud and stand up straight and feel, wow, I have a holy neshama. I have a holy neshama. And every single Jew is very far from doing sins. So what happened? How there are generations after generations of people who sin. So the Sitra Achra, which is the Satan, the other side, he stands there and he's waiting. And every time a person does a sin, he draws from him and he swallows more of him and swallows more of his ruchnias, of his spirituality, until he comes to a point that the person's ready. He's gone so far to do something that his whole Judaism depends on. It's like Yosef, call him. He was ready to go into the Beis HaMikdash. And what happens at that point? Yetzer Hara, Sitrach, is very excited. He's got him. He's a fish. He's going to get all of him and he's going to be knocked down and not even ever do a mitzvah again. We're going to kill him. It's going to be done for his Yiddishkeit. So he starts to swallow the next sin. This sin has to do with the Kuda Panimi, the Jewish inside point, the small Jewish candle inside of him of a Jew. And which is more powerful than anything in the world. So as he tries to swallow this, it's like those hard gumballs. Remember those gumballs, those like choker balls that are so hard. It gets caught, right? It gets caught in his throat, in this throat of the Yetzer Hara, of the Sitra Achra. And he can't breathe. It's caught in there. It's very hard. And what does he do? He spits it out so that he can go back to breathing. And when he vomits it out and spits it out, what comes out also? Everything else, all the sins that you did until then. And what's left? Pure, small, beautiful point, the purity of a Jew, the preciousness of a neshama. Let me just finish. And then all the kedusha that he swallowed until then, bless you, comes out. He has to get it out. And that's why sometimes a person is so rare. He gets so excited about doing tshuva when? After he did a lot of sins. Because he was caught in the web of sin, and then the Yetzer Hara, the Sitra Achra, had to get rid of it all. And what's left? He does tshuva, and he becomes close to Hashem, and his heart becomes filled with joy and love of Hashem. And even if a person is in Gullus, far away from Hashem, even there, what does Hashem do? He lowers himself like Hanukkah, and he goes to this Jew, the lowest part of this place, and daily, even more, he gives him hints. He whispers to him. He gives him little hugs. Please come back. Hashem says, come back to me. And the Jew in Las Vegas, or the Jew in Hong Kong, or the Jew wherever they are, if we can only realize and see and be sensitive and be open, Hashem is begging us and holding us. Come back to me, I love you. Come back to me, I love you. And this love, like the Zohar says, Rabbi Yehuda says, if we felt his love, we would run after him like roaring lions. We'd be happy to do every mitzvah.
Some people don't, then they haven't felt his love. No, God's love is not the same. Exactly, it's a completely unadulterated, so holy that it takes your neshama right out of your body. Yeah, but a lot of people have had bad experiences in this world. They don't. It wasn't actual love. No. It was because love isn't. You don't know what love is. Yeah. I've heard stories. People say I love you, but you don't. No, it's I love me. Usually is what it means. I don't know what it means. I've never understood it, but I take it very awful and still say I love you. Doesn't make sense. If they're not treating you properly, it's usually a real love. So it has to be something where you take care of another person. I love my kids because I give them things. I give them every bit of who I am. And it's not about me, it's about how can I teach them, how can I make them better, how can they be better than I am? Because I want them to have more than I did. I want them to be more spiritual than I am. I want them to have that connection deeper than I do. And that's what I try to guide them to. And so it's like I give of myself, and everything I give makes me more connected to them in a different way than you have to give me this because otherwise I don't feel up. So some mothers are like, that's the highest love of parents to a child. And Rabbi Meir Balhanes, who's very from Beria, wow. He said that which sons does Hashem love? The good ones, the tzaddikim, the ones that sit in shul all day and pray and learn and give charity. He loves all his sons. Rabbi Meir says, Ben kach u ben kach, whether he's this way, holy and high, or ben kach this way, low and miserable, Hashem loves him. That pure love, it's not dependent on anything. That love is what Hashem has for us, the love of a parent to a child. And when we can feel that love, it's real. It's not fake, and it's not for him. It's for us. And so I was on the bus in Yerushalayim on Thursday,
And I asked somebody, is this the right bus to get to Ramot? Because I wanted to come home to Yerushalayim, to Tzfat. And she answers me like in a broken Hebrew, lo yadat, lo yadat. And then she said, she understood that I speak English. I'm not here long enough. I really don't know. So sitting next to me, I said, oh, you made Aliyah recently? She said, yeah, a year ago. I said, really, a year ago? You're very, very brave to come in the middle of the war. Such faith, to come then. And we were talking, and there was a man on the bus who didn't look that old, 35, 45. And he had a aide, and he was in a wheelchair. And when he got off, the bus driver had to come around and make like a ramp, take down so there's no step, so he could go down. And I turned to her and I said, may Hashem give him a refuah shalema. And seeing him, we thank Hashem that we can walk. Thank you, Hashem, that I can walk. And she said to me something so beautiful, which I'd never heard before. It says in Pirkei Avos, Ezehu Asher, who was a truly wealthy person, Sameach b'chalko. He's happy with what Hashem gives him. Happy with, yes. Ezu Chacham, Halo made Mikol Adam. Ezu Asher, who's rich. Right. And also when we thank Hashem, I heard just recently, what's the people like to travel to see different views. What's the most beautiful view? Outside my kitchen.
Right?
Because
My
that's
sister
me.
wants
That's
me
what
to go to
Hashem
Greece,
gave.
and I'm like, you realize you're asking me 2 days before Hanukkah. It's like the worst time to
Wrong
ask me to
time.
come and visit you.
So she told me that the word Ashir, who is rich, he who is Ashir, who is rich, that's the word Ashir, who is happy with his chelek. What is the letters of Ashir spell? Ayin is Einayim, eyes. Shin is Shinayim, teeth. Yud is Yodayim, hands.
Wow.
And Resh is Ravlayim. If we have these four
And the
things,
share is what?
who is wealthy, who is fortunate, Ashir. Ashir.
So it's sort of like a spear.
No, that's a word. Ashir is wealthy. It stands for these four. If we have these four, we're rich.
Happiness is rich. It means rich. A share means like.
Yeah,
What about Asher? The tribe is that the same as?
that's with an aleph.
Okay, so.
Ezu Asher, who is a rich person, Hasameach b'chelko, who's happy with what Hashem gave him,
So
because
Asher, the word
it's
means
perfect
rich.
for me. Yeah, and if I have eyes and that work,
Asher,
that I can
rich.
see, and so I said to her, "What's the
I love
shin
that.
again? I never heard that before." And I said to her, "Let's fix the shin." I said to her, "What's the shin for?"
Maybe it's like this.
I don't think you should be.
Without, right.
It doesn't
Right,
mean that.
right,
you have to-
right. But but we should be thankful for these things. So often we take for granted. Yeah.
Because when you see a person with a lot of.
Oh, yeah, or pain in their
they're
teeth.
beautiful.
It's
Even
hard.
if you want to say, oh, they're a beautiful person, they are beautiful. They don't have teeth.
It's hard.
Something.
Yeah,
It's
missing.
hard.
And I asked her, because I forgot, I went through my mind what she said, and I said, "What's the shin?" She said, "It's teeth." So I asked her, "Wait a minute, what's teeth?" I mean, I understand eyes, hands, feet. Why are teeth so important? And she said the same thing, a smile. When you have teeth, you could smile and light up the world. You could smile to the mirror and light up yourself. And like you said, without teeth, it's hard.
People
Also-
don't want to smile when they don't have teeth.
What?
They don't want to smile when
Yeah. So Shinayim, if we can use our teeth to smile to each other and to ourselves. And to Hashem, thank you. Sameach b'chelko. And she told this to me on the bus. And I said, look, Hashem showed us this man in the wheelchair. Nothing is for nothing. Everything is for something. Hashem wanted us to pray for the man, he should have refuah shalema, to thank Hashem. I have my feet. And then what she told me was so beautiful. And then I got off the bus.
You have to see somebody in a wheelchair. I had somebody say somebody who's in a wheelchair. I'm not sick. My legs don't work. There's nothing wrong with me other than that. But it's like we always assume it because in a wheelchair they're not well. They might be perfectly healthy. It's got legs or a spinal injury. It's not.
They're not perfectly healthy, but they're a person. It's
Yeah,
define who they are.
We're talking about love. No, I shouldn't. Something once for other people, we should love ourselves.
Right?
You have a good feeling about yourself. It's easy to translate it. People press them down, cast down myself. I think I'm okay. Then it's hard to
To look for the good,
and other
or
people.
to feel love. V'ahavta l'reacha
And
kamocha.
Marvin's not saying he's liking, he's on the I'm not the only mother here, had times when I love my children, I just, it's give me a break. Yeah.
What you're saying is in the Torah in Vayikra, v'ahavta l'reacha, you should love your friend kamocha, like yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't love yourself, it's not going to be possible to love your friend. It starts with loving ourselves. And how can we?
Self-care is important.
And also,
Sure.
Hashem loves me so much. The Kohen Gadol put a chatima. He put a stamp on it that I am beloved. I am pure. I am good. I have that beauty and goodness inside of me. I can light up the world. So I might as well try hard to believe the Kohen Gadol, to believe him, because he wouldn't. Kohen Gadol would not lie. He was chotem. He signed and sealed that I am good. I have the Pach Shemen of purity, of beauty, of light,
I have to go now.
All right, Hatzlacha at
Thank
the
you.
post office. And thank you so much for,
Bye.
thanks a lot,
Bye.
Maxine. Good day.
technically,
So, I'm sorry, but in Miketz, we have chapter 41, pasuk 16, a beautiful, would you please read the Hebrew? Thank you.
ויען יוסף. לאמור, בלעדיי אלוקים יענה את שלום.
Hashem will see to Pharaoh as well.
Here he had the chance to be second in command. Pharaoh was telling him, you're so wise. I want you to come and be under me. I'll give you everything. My ring I'll give you. And give us advice what to do with 7 years of famine that comes after the 7 years of a lot of wealth. And what did he answer? Look what he answered. Without Hashem, I don't know anything. I just rely on Hashem. I'm nothing. I'm a conduit. I could try to answer, but it's all Hashem. And when Paro saw that, he said, there's no one better to choose than you. Because you're not hard or think it's all me, but rather it's not me. It's just Hashem. It's only Hashem. And Yosef was a very emotional person and full of love. And his compassion was kindled when he spoke to his brother Binyamin. He was pretending to be the rough, tough, second in command vice president of Egypt. And actually, he kept going out of the room to cry because he was so emotional. These are his brothers, and he missed them so much. And they didn't recognize him because he was waiting for them to do tshuva so that they could reunite. And what does he say? What goes on the conversation between Yosef and his younger brother Binyamin? Who would like to read the Hebrew? It's number 2, chapter 43, pasuk 30. Yeah, I'm here. Yosef,
With that, Joseph hurried out, for his compassion was kindled toward his brother and was on the verge of tears. He went into a room and wept there.
What did Binyamin say that made him so emotional and so compassionate? So Rashi says that Yosef asked Binyamin, do you have any other brothers from your mother? That's Rechov. He said, well, I had one, but I don't know where he is. He's been missing for many, many years. And then he says, "Do you have children?" He said, yeah, I do. I don't know where he is. That's a good point. Maybe because his father was, that's a very good point. Because they came and told his father that he had died, Yosef. And he says, do you have any sons? Yeah, I have 10 sons. Oh, really? What are their names? Tell them their names. And he said, what kind of names are these? Where did you get these names? So he said, all these names are referred to my brother and the troubles that have happened to him. And then he told him their 10 names. The first son was Bella, because he disappeared like the fly. He was not amongst the nations. Becher, he was the firstborn. Bechor. Ashbal, Hashem sent him into captivity. Gara, he lived Gar. He was in a foreign country. Now he was my older brother and my superior. I respected him. Mupim. He learned from the mouth of my father. His chupim is like a chuppah, but it's two chupim. I did not see his chuppah, and he did not see mine. We missed each other's marriages, weddings. And Arad, he went down to the nations. And this is brought down in Sota. When Yosef heard how he loved him and never forgot him and named his children after him, his compassion was kindled because he felt, I'm not gone. I'm in his heart. I'm beloved by him. And he went out to cry. And next week he's going to, it's like, hang on for next week. He's going to reveal himself.
Yeah, I never
Stop
pause.
here,
I
yeah.
always finish it.
You want the
I
good
always
part.
read ahead because I'm like, I can't wait. It's like, I hate this cliffhanger. I have to finish it.
Sometimes I don't go to show, but I try to always go to show by this Parsha when I hear I am waiting and they're reading it in show. And I hear that I cry. Yeah.
There was this one thing, I can't remember exactly.
Like, oh, it's so much.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
There was this one time, I don't remember when, but I had to do with the Vatican when the Pope invited a bunch of rabbis to them. And it was Pope Joseph or whatever, and they all came in and they were all like scared and whatnot because he had like that power at the time. And he said, "Don't be afraid, I'm your brother Joseph."
Ooh, wow.
And it's like, that's like, it was a turning point. I can't remember exactly where or when or what, but that particular like term, like when it was like a turning point when they stopped openly persecuting us.
Wow. Really, at that point, wow.
Somewhere along that time, like when the Spanish Inquisition was like really.
Oh, wow.
So, and even
Beautiful.
though it lasted 230, 40,
Wow.
50 years.
Beautiful. Thank you. The love. Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
There's a teaching, I don't know where it comes from. My husband was saying, Shabbos, that Yaakov actually knew that Joseph wasn't dead, even though they said.
Because they probably couldn't see his soul in Shemayim. I mean, if he has that type of ruach with a
But he
kodesh,
lost-
a different thing.
He lost the Ruach HaKodesh because he was sad. That's it.
But I heard that
But so the names, Benjamin's name, his children, kind of relate to that idea. that
He's still alive.
Yeah.
I heard that Yitzhak Rabbeinu knew that Yosef was still alive.
Say. The ahava that every Jew has, we should use when the